I Ching has 64 hexagrams. The hexagrams are the stack of 2 trigrams. There are 8 trigrams in total. Today, I will put all 8 trigrams in a single page at the end of this presentation. This will be our reference in talking about hexagrams. Trigram has 3 lines. Those lines are either a yang line or yin line. Yang line is a solid line. Yin line is a broken line. Therefore, 2 to the power of 3 equals 8. 8 trigrams are the complete combination of yin and yang. Fuxi made trigrams about 5,000 years ago and named them based on the natural phenomena. Fuxi believes that the human affairs are reflections of the natural affairs. So each trigram has a position in the family. From Fuxi's point of view, a family is a universe. As we say, we can see the whole world through a single drop of water. Generally speaking, trigrams have multiple meanings. Now let's start to go over them one by one. The symbol on top left screen is the composition of the trigram. Here we have 3 solid lines, 3 yang lines. Following this symbol is the name of the trigram. The name is the standard pinyin. Inside brackets is the original Chinese name. We will use the original names of trigrams because they were named by Fuxi over 5,000 years ago. This trigram of 3 yang lines is Qian trigram. Each trigram has its image took from the things we see every day. Then I listed the most important attributes of the trigram. Last line is its role in the family of the human being. So the image of Qian trigram is the sky, and its role in the family is the father. The sky is high above, it is strong and reliable. No matter what happens, day by day, year by year, it runs on its own cycle. The sun goes up from east and goes down to the west. Spring comes after the winter, and the fall follows the summer. Such changes provide the energy for everything under the sky to germinate, to grow, to bloom, to reproduce. In this sense, it is the creator. Therefore, I put strong and creative as the attribute of Qian trigram. Qian trigram has 3 yang lines. It is the sky high above. Its corresponding role in the family is father. If you got a chance to visit the Forbidden City in Beijing, look for the palace named Qian. We will know it is the place for a king to sleep. The composition of this trigram is 3 broken lines. There are 3 yin lines. 3 yin lines make a Kun trigram. The image of Kun trigram is the ground, and its corresponding role in the family is the mother. We, the human, are all living on the ground. The ground under us is so broad, it bears all the weight we put on it. It enjoys the joys from us. It sustains the pain from us too. Therefore, broad and receptive are its major attributes. The ground nurtures everything on it without constantly moving like the sky. While the sky is high, the ground is broad. The sky is changing and moving. The ground is quiet and supporting. Together, the sky and the ground make everything possible. Here we have two broken lines and one solid line. It is one yang line under two yin lines. The name of this trigram is called Zhen. Zhen is the thunder. Its role in the family is the elder son or first son. Different than Qian trigram, which has all yang lines, or Kun trigram, which has all yin lines. Zhen trigram has mixed yin and yang lines. We have three trigrams that have two yin lines and one yang line. We also have three trigrams that have one yin line and two yang lines. The trigrams with one yang line are yang trigram. The trigrams with one yin line are yin trigram. The order of lines in trigram is the same as in hexagram. It is from the bottom to the top, because the yang line of Zhen trigram is the first line. Zhen trigram is the first yang trigram. That explains why Zhen trigram is the elder son. The composition of Zhen trigram is one yang line under two yin lines. Its image is the thunder. We can see yang is strong and trying to move upward. Yin is calm, resting on top of yang. Just like earthquake, when the yang line accumulated enough power to break two yin lines on top, it shakes everything at very quick speed and very strong power. Zhen trigram, however, is much more constructive than earthquake. The purpose of Zhen trigram is not to break everything, but to stimulate new things. That's why we use thunder as its image, because the thunder is the key element of life formation on our globe at earlier stage. So the major attributes of Zhen trigram is shaking and initiative. On top left, we see one broken line and two solid lines. It is one yin line under two yang lines. The name of this trigram is Xun. Its image is the wind or wood, and its role in the family is elder daughter. We know one yin line and two yang lines make a yin trigram, and the yin line in Xun trigram is at its first position. Therefore, it corresponds to the elder daughter in the family. How could we imagine the images of Xun trigram as wind or wood? Xun trigram has one yin line under two yang lines. Compared to its opposite trigram, which is Zhen trigram with one yang line under two yin lines. Xun has exactly the opposite attributes. That is, while Zhen, the thunder, comes in a powerful manner and shaking, Xun, the wind, comes in soft, quiet manner and penetrating. While Zhen, the thunder, is strong, the Xun, the wind, is soft. Just like the tree, they grow from the ground. It matches the composition of Xun trigram of a yin line under two yang lines. The tree root in the ground and grow up to the sky. So the second image of string trigram is wood. The major attributes of string trigram is penetrating and growing. This trigram has two broken lines and one solid line. That is, two yin lines and one yang line. Now the yang line is in between of two yin lines. The name of this trigram is called can. Its image is the water, and its role in the family is the middle sound. Two yin lines and one yang line make a yang trigram, and the yang line at the second position or the middle position makes it the second yang trigram, corresponding to second sound or middle sound in the family. Let's look at it, the composition of can trigram again. The solid line, the yang line, is under a yin line, so it cannot fly up high as a dragon. This yang line is also on top of another yin line. This yin line supports the yang line above. That makes the yang line can move around on the surface of the ground. It is the image of water. Because the yang line is trapped between yin lines, it is dangerous. It is difficult. That explains the major attributes of can trigram. This trigram has one broken line and two solid lines. It is one yin line in the middle of two yang lines. The name of this trigram is called Li. Its image is the fire, and its role in the family is the middle daughter. One yin line and two yang lines make a yin trigram, and the only yin line is at the second place. Therefore, it's the second daughter or middle daughter in the family. Li in Chinese means pretty. One yin line bright in between two yang lines. It is pretty. It is opposite trigram of can trigram. While can is the water, Li is the fire, and its major attributes are bright and pretty. On top left, we see two broken lines and one solid line. This time, the solid line is on top. This is the composition of one yang line on top of two yin lines. The name of this trigram is Geng. Its image is the mountain. Its role in family is the younger son. This trigram is a yang trigram because it has two yin lines and one yang line. And the yang line is at the top position, the last line of trigrams. Therefore, it's corresponding to the younger son in the family. Now a yang line on top, strong and moving up, with both yin lines support below, it is the image of the mountain. Look at the mountain, it rises up to the sky, sit down still on the ground, makes the end of the road for wagons, and cut off the flow of water. That explains its major attributes of blocking, arresting. While Zhen trigram initiates something, Geng trigram ends them. So we put seed on the ground at Zhen trigram and harvest the crops at Geng trigram. Last but not least, we see a broken line on top of two solid lines at the top left place. It is one yin line on top of two yang lines. The name of this trigram is Dui. Its image is the lake, and its role in family is younger daughter. One yin line and two yang lines make a yin trigram. The yin line here is at the top place, the last position of the Dui trigram. So it's the younger daughter in the family. The composition of one yin line on top of two yang lines is the water covers the ground but does not move around. It is the image of the lake. It is different than can trigram because can is a yang trigram and the water is moving. The lake is calm and pleasant, self-sufficient. The major attributes of Dui trigram are joyful and complacent. Here we have all 8 trigrams listed in a single table. Here the first row is the compositions of 8 trigrams. Second row is the names of the trigram in standard Chinese pinyin. Third row is the images, and the fourth row is the major attribute. Last row is the roles in the family. One question that puzzled myself a while, that is, why the trigrams with one yin line and two yang lines are yin trigrams, and they are daughters. But the trigrams with two yin lines and one yang lines are yang trigrams, and they are sons. Why yang trigrams have two yin lines but only one yang line? Why yin trigrams have two yang lines but only one yin line? Recently, I found the answer. In my previous presentation about yin and yang, it was mentioned that yang is represented by odd numbers. Yin is represented by even numbers. So yang trigrams should be an odd number. Yin trigrams should be an even number. Yang trigrams have two yin lines and one yang lines. If we add two even numbers and one odd number together, the sum is always an odd number. That's why yang trigrams have only one yang line. Yin trigrams have one yin line and two yang lines. If we add one even number and two odd numbers together, the sum is always an even number. That's why yin trigrams have only one yin line. This table is 8 trigrams in a nutshell. The 64 hexagrams of I Ching are 2 trigrams stacked together. Hope this table could be helpful and speed up our journey on I Ching. Bye.